Okay, now let's talk about the planets. Here's another little Lego thing that our youngest son built 28 years ago when he was 4. And I want to talk to you about centrifugal force and centripetal force. Have you ever been in a vehicle, a truck or a car with your parents or grandparents, and they went through some muddy ground? Maybe you're going to a rodeo and they had you park in the pasture or something like that, and it's kind of muddy. And then when you left, you start driving down the street and you hear all this thump, 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 chunks of mud coming out under your car. And if you've ever seen it, those tires are spinning and they're slinging mud off every direction. Well, we have two forces. One is called centrifugal force and the other is centripetal force. Have you ever driven a go-kart? Okay, now is it amazing to you if you've driven a go-kart, you go and you pay your money for the ride and you sit in the go-kart and the engine is running. It's not running very fast, but it's running, right? And then you don't have to put it in gear. You just push the pedal and it speeds up the engine and the car starts going. Why? How does that happen? Here's how. There's a metal, think of it as a can, and inside the can is two weights that are curved the same shape as the can. And they're connected to the engine, and as they spin faster and faster and faster and faster, it starts slinging those weights out, and it's rubbing on the inside of that can. It starts to turn the can that turns the chain that turns the wheel, and you get to go. Now that's called centrifugal force, the force that slings things out, slings chunks of mud out, slings the little weights out, so a go-kart will work. So when I do this ball like this, I feel the string pulling on my finger. You're getting nervous, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's see if you've been mean to me in any way here. And why does this ball not just fly off? Because the string's pulling on the ball's pulling on the string, right? Every force equal and opposite force. You know, if you jump up to dunk a basketball, well, you're driving a force down and there's a force pushing you up, you know. Well, I don't know what to do about this experiment because no matter where I let it go, it's going to clock somebody.
It's not going to be good.
Now, in case I get brave, this is a very soft, squishy ball. It would not hurt anybody, okay? Maybe I can hit the Gutenberg press back there.
The Earth is held in its orbit with a force, the gravitational pull of the sun, and if that gravitational pull from the sun suddenly disappeared, what would happen to the Earth? Fly off. The same thing that's going to happen to that string when he lets go
I want
of
you to catch it, not dodge it.
Woo! Yeah, it didn't hit anybody.
Okay, it's going round and round. When I let it go, it went in a tangent to the circle. Good job there. Thank you very much.
All right.
So this is an illustration of the gravity that exists in our planet. Now, before Sir Isaac Newton explained Newton's universal law of gravitation, there were some real cuckoo ideas about what was holding the Earth up. Did you know that? Well, one of the ideas was that Atlas, this big, strong man, was holding up the Earth. Oh,
yeah, that's true?
That's really not. Have you ever seen any giant fingers of this giant man big enough to hold up the Earth? And what would he be standing on? There was another one that was even crazier. You probably heard of it, maybe. It was the story. What's the story you've heard of? Yeah.
That's exactly right.
He's heard it. There was actually a lot of people that were pretty intelligent that believed the Earth was held up on the backs of 3 elephants. And then someone said, well, what's holding them up? And the answer was a giant turtle. A giant turtle. Oh, well, now we can rest easy. We've got the mystery solved. The Earth is on the back of 3 elephants and they're on a turtle. Is that good science?
No.
Did you know that science means knowledge and one of God's traits is omniscience? You spell it omniscience. People, if we really want to be smart, we got to get on God's program. The one that has omniscience has all knowledge. We need to listen to what He says.